Hey everyone, it's Miss Garcia. Today I'm going to be out, so I want to make sure that I post this by the morning so that both the in-person and the at-home students have it. So today is Tuesday, January 12th. We did have a snow day yesterday, which is kind of awesome. We all got to relax a little bit. There was no homework. But it's also going to be kind of a short week because Friday we do get out early. So we have a lot to go over in a very short amount of time. So what are we doing today? We are going to learn the basics of drama, such as the types of drama and its components. And we're going to become familiar with dramatic conventions such as monologues, dialogues, soliloquies, and asides. And if there's an echo, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm at home and I have kind of a cavernous living room, so it kind of makes it a little crazy. So today we're going to go over drama, and more drama, which is an introduction to drama. And then you're going to be completing the introduction to drama notes, which is due Friday the 15th by 11:59 p.m. So even though we do get out a little early, guys, I am going to be accepting that until 11:59 as normal. All right. So drama. I actually like dramas just because they keep life interesting. So this unit's going to be about drama, and more drama. But what is really drama, right? We know drama that we have at school, like we have some conflicts with our friends or, even some conflicts with our teachers. And we see drama all the time on TV, but what is it exactly? Well, according to literarydevices.net, it's a mode of fictional representation through dialogue and performance, a type of play written for theater, television, radio, or film. So it definitely incorporates dialogue and a performance of some sort. It also stems from the Greek word for action. So think of there has to be some dynamic action, some performance, some movement, some dialogue. That's pretty much what drama is, okay? So basically, drama is a fiction or nonfiction text that's acted out for the audience. So that's why you do see a lot of crossovers from literature to movies, or even just regular books to movies and vice versa, because they take those books and they create a drama with them. They make them alive. They perform it in front of people. So how is it acted out? Again, through different forms of dialogue or speech and stage directions or the actions of the characters, okay? So it's important to remember that every performance of a play is different, even if the same play is acted out by the same actors, because every performance is influenced by the audience. So you'll hear people that are in plays talk about how they feed off the audience, so it very much changes. Now, it is a little different on movies because movies obviously are recorded and they're set in place. But sometimes if you talk to actors, they'll tell you that they go through a scene several times and each time is a little different and they keep the scene that works best. But when it's a live play, you can go every single night a play is open and it'll be a little different each time. So there's only two types of plays. There's a tragedy, which Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies. That's a tragedy. You keep using that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. So what is it then? Well, a tragedy shows the downfall or death of a tragic hero or main character. In Greek plays, the hero was a good person that was brought down by a character flaw. So think of our character flaws like a quick temper, has too much pride, those types of things. Those are character flaws, right? Miss Garcia has a character flaw. She's very stubborn sometimes, especially when I was younger. And so I always did things the hard way because I didn't want to listen to anybody. If I was a Greek hero, that would be my character flaw. The Greek plays are really some of the most well-known plays, along with Shakespearean plays, that incorporate tragedy. So in modern plays, the hero can be a normal person destroyed by an evil in society. Okay, so that's when you see a lot of these really normal people that there's a force acting against them. So a tragedy, its main goal is to stress human greatness, right? How great humans can be despite their flaws, despite the forces against them. Then we have comedy. So you're a comedian now? Tell us some more jokes, please. So everybody knows comedy makes you laugh. It's supposed to. But there's different types. But for drama, A comedy often shows a conflict between opposites, such as different age groups, genders, or personality types. Most are typically comedies involve confusion, jokes, and normally have a happy ending. Some do not, but for the most part they do, right? Because it's supposed to be that joyous, like make people laugh, right? The most popular form of comedic plays are satires, which are Miss Garcia's favorite, and that's what we'll actually be reading later is a satire. And I'll get into that more about satires and what that is next week. Okay, so what do comedies try to emphasize? Human weakness, right? We all have our weaknesses, right? Whether it's a great love, we have all these flaws, and comedies tend to play on those flaws in a very funny manner, right? To call attention to that. All right, so the playwright and the script. So what's a playwright? A playwright is the actual author of a play. Now, I want you to pay attention to the way this is spelled because everybody spells it wrong. So it's play and then write, W-R-I-G-T. Make sure you remember that. Hint, hint, it will come up in the future. But a playwright is the author of the play. So everything a playwright writes must appear on stage. Okay? So when they put their play together, and I'm going to show you later, they'll actually include notes that you have to follow. People will tweak it here and there, but for the most part, you're supposed to act out the play exactly as the author had intended it, or the playwright had intended it. And they put this in a script. So a script is the play in written form. And that includes all kinds of things that we're going to go over later, from the characters to the actual dialogue. So a script includes what the characters say, known as dialogue, and how the play is supposed to be performed, known as stage directions. So dialogue is speaking, stage directions are what the people are supposed to be doing. Are they supposed to be running? Are they supposed to be smiling? Are they supposed to be dancing, angry? What kind of faces are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to interact? But today we're going to really be focusing on the dialogue, which again is the way the characters speak. So I want to go over those forms with you. So the first one we have is a monologue. It is a long speech by one actor in a play or movie directed at another character, but goes mostly interrupted. So I kind of want you to think about this like when I'm teaching sometimes. I give these long lessons and not that many people interact with me. It's mostly just me speaking at you. That would be Miss Garcia's monologue. That's her time to shine. I want you to think of it that way. I have included a movie clip for you. That's the Joker's monologue in The Dark Knight. I'm not going to show it right now because YouTube does like to edit or how shall I say, block some of these videos. So I don't want it to kind of mess up the video as I'm showing it. So go ahead and take a look at these by yourselves. I love Heath Ledger. It's a great monologue, right? And what you'll notice is even though Batman does speak, most of the speech is done by the Joker. So therefore, it is a monologue because one character is giving a mostly uninterrupted speech. Think of it as a lecture. So again, think of it as your teacher's talking at you. You're kind of listening and you're trying to learn something from it. Another example is in Ready Player One, another one of my favorite movies. When Parzival calls for help from all the other gamers, he is like giving this long monologue about why they need to come and join him and fight, Sorrento. And so go ahead and take a look at that. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie. And just, pay attention to how he's speaking and nobody is interrupting him. Everybody is listening. So that makes it a monologue. So think mono. Mono means one. Okay, so monologue. It's one person speaking. That's very different from a dialogue. So a dialogue is a conversation between two or more characters. So again, here's a clip, an example, and it is a dialogue mostly between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, or Captain America. And they're kind of arguing over the Avengers and the role of the Avengers. So take a look at that. But I want you to notice that most of the Avengers at some point say something, but the main dialogue is between Iron Man and Captain America. They are both kind of speaking equally, and so that is a dialogue. Di means two, so think of it as a conversation instead of a monologue. Again, mono means one, di means two, so monologue, one person, dialogue, two people. Okay, another example is when Anakin and Obi-Wan are talking in Star Wars. Again, notice that they're conversing back and forth with each other, right? It's even if it's an argument. So arguments with different people are also dialogues. So any type of conversation, when there's more than one person, that is a dialogue. It can be up to 5 people, 100 people. It's a dialogue, okay? So a soliloquy, some people will mistake monologues for a soliloquy because most of the time when you see soliloquies, the person is talking by themselves and nobody's interrupting them, but it's different. A soliloquy is when a character shares their thoughts aloud and they are alone. Now, I'm not talking about there's no audience or anything. I'm talking that normally they're alone on the stage. Now, if they aren't alone, the people are going to be in the background. But basically what it is when the character is sharing their thoughts so that the audience knows what the character is thinking, right? Because we're not telepathic. We can't read people's minds. We can't hear inside their heads. We need them to actually speak their thoughts. So when the character is just kind of talking to themselves, thinking out loud, right? Miss Garcia talks to herself all the time. I'm sure some of you do too. That is a soliloquy. And there is an example. Some of the most famous soliloquies are from Shakespeare. So here's an example from Andrew Scott in Hamlet. Again, I'm not going to show it because I don't want it to be blocked out on the video. So go ahead and take a look at it yourself. And I'm sorry I'm going really fast, guys. I just really want to make sure you guys get all this information. But we're going to go over it several times. So when you look at the video, you're going to notice that Hamlet is alone, but he's sharing his thoughts out loud. And the fact that nobody in the play can hear him, but he's still sharing the thoughts, that is a soliloquy. That's why it's not a monologue. Remember, for a monologue, they have to have an audience. So the way I always think of soliloquies is I'm talking to myself, right? You're talking to yourself, that's a soliloquy. If I'm talking to somebody else and just at them, that's a monologue. Another example is David Tennant. Some of you might know him as a Doctor Who character, or Doctor Who. He's one of the many Doctor Whos. And he also came out in Angels and Demons, which I love. So he also gives another soliloquy from Hamlet. Hamlet, again, is Shakespearean. At some point, you do kind of need to become comfortable with Hamlet and know about Hamlet because it is often referenced. And you'll notice in the other clip, he says to be or not to be. That is the question. People use that all the time. It is an allusion to Hamlet. So you do need to know that. And we'll talk about it a little bit more. So again, in this soliloquy, you're going to notice that he's alone. He's talking to himself, nobody else. He's alone with his thoughts. So soliloquy, talking to myself. An aside, you guys should be pretty used to, especially if you are huge Deadpool fans. But an aside is when the character talks directly to the audience, but no one else in the play hears it. So it's like they break character and they start talking to you in the audience. Whether that's in the movie or in a play, that's called an aside. Think of it as like, hey, can I pull you aside and talk to you, like in secret, hush, hush. We also know this as breaking the fourth wall. This is very common in some comic books and a lot of, like I said, the Deadpool movies. One of the most popular movies known for doing this up until Deadpool was Ferris Bueller. If you're Ferris Bueller's Days Off, go ahead and take a look at it. But what you're going to notice is that he's talking directly to you, the audience. He's making the audience an active participant in the movie, and therefore he's breaking that fourth wall. He's inviting you in. So again, think of it as he's taking you aside to have a private conversation that none of the other characters can hear because he's talking directly to you. It's like a little secret. And again, here's another example from Deadpool. And as you'll notice, he's kind of ripping off from Ferris Bueller, or he's making an allusion to or reference to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I love Deadpool, and he's great at breaking the fourth wall, not only in the movies, but also in the comic books. So again, Deadpool is talking directly to the audience, as he is known to do. And in reality, Ferris Bueller and Deadpool are two of the most well-known characters known for doing this, for breaking that fourth wall and talking to the audience. So a good way to notice the difference between a soliloquy and an aside is normally in an aside, the character is gonna look directly at the audience and start talking to them. To where a soliloquy, they're kind of off and lost in their thoughts, and they really don't make eye contact with the audience. So that's the end of today's lesson, kind of. So what you're now going to do is you definitely need to watch the videos because I need you to know the types of speech that take place in a drama. It's very, very important. But you also need to do the introduction to drama notes and submit them by January 15th by 11:59. You might be like, well, Miss Garcia, where exactly are those notes? I'm glad you asked because they're going to be right here in the introduction to drama notes assignment. So what you need to do is you need to follow these instructions. You're going to open the introduction to drama notes in a Google Drive assignment. And then once you're done, you're going to just click the submit button and it'll automatically submit it. Now you do need to have a Google account to be able to access this. If for some reason you do not have a Google account, though I think most of you do, please reach out to me so that I can try to find out another way to get them to you. But I do think this is going to be a little bit easier than using the OneNote, which seemed to give most of the classes some issues. So this will be a little bit easier, and it'll be easier for me to also track who's actually completing them. Now, there is a hint. The answers are the colored text in the lesson. So, for example, if I ask you, what is a drama, or what does drama stand for? What's the Greek word mean? It's action. So again, look for the colored words. That's going to help you. Make sure you have those done by 11:59 p.m. by Friday because they are going to be a grade. And if you have any questions, let me know. Again, please, please, please watch the examples. I really think that by you guys actually seeing what the dialogues look like, the monologues, the asides, and soliloquies look like, that's going to stick in your brain a little bit more. And I might actually at some point ask you to provide your own examples. So you really need to know what these mean and what they look like. So, all right, guys. Well, I will be back tomorrow. And we're going to continue to learn a little bit more about drama. But go ahead and work on these for the rest of the class time. Again, make sure you have everything in that you need to have in from last week. I am going to start taking points off soon. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Bye.